All right, well, my name is Arlin Peebles. I'm the Ed Leaders Network Director with the Illinois Principals Association. I thank you so much for joining me this afternoon to get a look at the Ed Leaders Network Manager role and how to create courses, assign courses, and everybody's favorite, track completion of courses, and look at the reports coming back from Ed Leaders Network as well. The first thing I let everybody know is that your manager login is going to be different from your personal login. So the email address is going to be totally different. It'll have the letters LMS manager in it at whatever your school district is. But this allows for us to put your people underneath that. And if people change positions, the manager login stays the same. So you should be getting from Julie Miner, our tech director, a separate login for Ed Leaders Network managing your team. I also tell people, because ELN remembers your login so well, and you can click login and it takes you straight to the learning management system. I also recommend that people go, if they're using Chrome, go up to File and launch a new incognito window. This will keep your manager login separate from your personal. Some school districts have this incognito window blocked for their students. They don't want them launching in an incognito window. So what you'll have to do in that case is open a different browser. Internet Edge, Explorer, they've kind of gone away from, but Edge, Safari for people on a Mac, Firefox for either platform, just something to way to keep your manager login separate from your personal. You go to the main edleadersnetwork.org webpage to get logged in. The login button is in the top right corner, but this is where you're going to put in those manager credentials instead of your personal account right here in the email and password. Once you click login, it's going to push you through. You may have to update your password if this is the first time you're logging in, but it will push you right through to the learning management system, and you will land in the My Learning page, just like as if you were a learner. The way you can quick check to see, am I logged in as a manager, is looking over on the far left side and making sure you see Analytics, Author, and Admin. These are the three tools that will be different for you from your learner. If you're logged in with your personal account, you're going to see Learn at the top and Tools to get back to our homepage or the community or our micro-credentials portal as well. You have access to the learning library as a manager. I ask that you not complete courses unless they're related to managing your team in the learning library, because you want those to be connected to your personal account. So just always be aware, knowing you're managing your team, that it's going to be a separate account, and you want to make sure you're in the right one before you do anything. And again, just checking the left to see Analytics, Author, and Admin. The first tool, Analytics, that we're going to look at, this is where you get your data for course and program completion. Now, it takes a long time for mine to load because I'm loading up the whole Ed Leaders Network, all 110,000 users and their completion. Yours will hopefully move a little bit faster than mine. Oh, we've got someone new in the room. Let me see if I can pull them up here. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so this is the overview of the analytics. Lots of nice charts and graphs on learning status, how many people are overdue, the number of learners that have come through the site. Always be aware the default is the last 90 days for the enrollment date. So always be aware of the data you're looking at. It is date dependent. But lots of charts and graphs here for you to just get a quick overview on how things are going. What I like to do is click on transcript. This is another sort of long load time. But this is where you really get to see who's completing what in the system. And one of the things you can do here under transcript that's really nice is set it to be automatically emailed to you on a recurring basis. And that way you don't have to come and wait for that data to load on your screen. You can be getting a weekly email that's updating each week with new completers of courses. And once this loads, I'm going to show you one area that I want you to make an adjustment on when you get in and before you set it up to be scheduled to deliver to you via email. The enrollment date, again, by default, is looking at the last 90 days. I want you to click on that and switch it to is in range. And I want you to set the range to July 1st, 22, all the way to June 30th, 23. So we're looking at just this school year. Now, when you make a change to any of these filters at the top, you've got to click this refresh button in the top right-hand corner for it to take effect. And then what it affects is this learner transcript down at the bottom. Here you can see the user's name, the title of the course or program that they've completed, whether it's a course or a program, as it is down here. Their progress, there's a few different ones. In progress means they've started the course. Not started a course means they haven't yet logged in to see it. Overdue means you assigned a due date and it's passed. And then I think there's down here we go. Here you go, completed. That's what you're wanting to see, is who completed what. And then there's the enrollment date is first and their completion date is after that. So those are the main data points that you're probably going to be concerned with, is the who, the what, and the when of course completion. Once you get this refreshed and you're looking at this year's data, what I want you to do then is come to the three little dots, the vertical dots in the top right-hand corner that says Dashboard Actions. I want you to click on that and go to Schedule Delivery. This is what I was talking about. This is the way to send this data to you on a recurring basis. I'm going to create a new schedule. You can have the data sent daily. That's a lot of spreadsheets to maintain. Typically what I recommend is going in and setting the recurrence to weekly. The date, Monday, that's fine, and the time, 6 a.m. You can adjust both of those things. The destination is going to be email. And then this is where you're going to have to make a change. Where it says email address, it's going to put in that long, generic LMS Manager email that you use to log in. So you will click the X next to that to clear out that email address and type in your personal email address, or your school email address, your school account. Now you notice once I hit enter, it puts in my email address and the cursor starts flashing. I can put in more than one person. So if you've got somebody else who you want to be looking at this data and it's not going to be totally your responsibility, you can type in their email address into there as well, and they will get this transcript sent to them on the weekly basis. By default, the format is PDF. I've had some trouble with this where it only shows me one page of my report. So I always recommend going down to the CSV zip file. This way you get a spreadsheet you can use in Google Sheets, you can use in Microsoft Excel, you can sort, you can filter, all the fun things you can do with data, you can do with the CSV zip file. Once you've got all of those things set up, you can click Save, and that will save your scheduled transcript delivery. Very nice feature to be able to just get this data sent to you via email on a weekly basis. So that's one of the first things I recommend you do under the Analytics tab when you're getting set up. Any questions about analytics, data, transcripts? Any thoughts so far or feedback from the group? Okay, wonderful. All right, let's look at the next tool that you should have as a manager. The pin style tool here is Author. We're going to click on Author, and the first place it takes us is to the full list of courses that exist on EdLeaders Network. You can see courses in here created by other LMS managers. That does mean you can't edit them, but you can see what they are. You can also assign them to your staff. So always be aware of what course you're assigning. Is it an EdLeaders Network course, or is it a course that we have made at our school or district? So if I wanted to assign a course to somebody or a group, you can assign to groups of people too. I would search for it in the top search bar. So I'm going to search for bloodborne pathogens. Always be sure to see that it's got the current school year date attached to it. Now, every July 1st, I publish the new state mandated trainings and I archive the old. So unless you're under the archive tab, you should only see the most recent school year courses. So if you see something that says 21-22, that's last year, you should see archived by it, which means you can no longer assign it. But if I'm under the active courses and I'm searching for my bloodborne pathogens, I'm going to click on the title. That's going to take me to this main landing page. And I can see some data here too. I can see I've got over 6,000 required learners. 36% of those people have completed, 62% haven't started, and 2% of those people are in the middle of completing the course. To assign this course to someone, you go up to where it says learners right in the middle of your screen. This is going to show you everybody that's in your group that has been assigned the course. So this would probably be blank for most of you. If you wanted to assign bloodborne pathogens to one single person, you would click on the plus learner button, type their name into the field below. It'll search the database and you should see them pop up. And then you can click on that person's name and set a due date. It will send an email notification to that person and say, Arlin, you've just been assigned bloodborne pathogens. Here's the link to get started. Now, for a course like bloodborne pathogens, where I want all of my staff to complete, I would go over to groups here at the top, and it's going to load up all of my groups that have been assigned this course. And again, for most of you, this will be blank, but for me, it's going to be just a moment here as it loads these people. There we go. So you can see for all learners, I'm the super admin, so I get to assign courses to anybody in the system. For all learners, it's in the library. And that's one of the ways you can assign a course or program. What I'm going to do is go to the plus group button in the top right-hand corner. I'm going to type in my learners and make sure to write this down. If you want to assign it to everybody in your school or everybody in your district, the name of that group is My Learners, MY Learners. And then you get to set the relevance. Is this going to be required, recommended, or just available in the library? Well, available in the library is redundant here. It already exists there, so that's not helping anything. Recommended puts it on their My Learning page, but does not send them an email notification. However, if you set it to required and click save, everybody on your team is going to get an email saying you've been assigned bloodborne pathogens. Here's the link to get started. So that's what I would recommend you do, setting it up, sending it out as a required course. Now, as you are all well aware, there are a lot more than just bloodborne pathogens to mandated trainings. I think there's like 18 mandated trainings for annual and biannual. So if you wanted to assign the full group or the full set of mandated trainings to your group, you'll come over here to the left and click on programs. This is going to line up and load up all of the programs that have been created. If you search for IL Annual, it's going to bring up some programs. And this one with 11 courses in it, this is the one we've created for the 22-23 school year. So you can see the annual. Somebody made a copy of this for 2021. This is old. And then you'll see the biannual for 22-23.
What fifth grade is that right now?
If I click on the title for Illinois Annual Mandated Trainings for 22-23, it's going to take me first to where I can add an individual learner and assign them the program. Or this is mandated training. So I'm going to click on groups, plus group, search for my learners. I'm going to set that relevance to required. And now when I click save, all of my people are going to be assigned all 11 courses that they need to take for this school year for mandated training. Now, if you saw back under programs, when I search for Illinois Annual, you'll also see that the biannual training come up as well.
Yes.
These are to be completed every 2 years. Now, the only downside to Ed Leaders Network is while it keeps track of everything that's been completed, it's not smart enough to say, oh, you took HIV/AIDS this year, you don't have to take it next year. That is something somebody on your team or yourself will have to keep track of, is which people completed the biannual this year and then don't need to complete it next year. There are less every 2 years. There's only 8, so that's 19 total courses that people have to complete. 11 courses in a single year, and then the 8 courses every other year. But again, for biannual, I go to groups, plus group, type in my learners, set that relevance to required, and now I've assigned everything for this year that my staff needs to complete. And you'll be able to look at that when you're back at analytics. You'll be able to look at these programs to see who's done. So that saves you a step. Now, some people, and we saw that when we were back at programs here, you can create your own program. If you don't want to do all 11 mandated trainings at a single shot, you can click plus new program. And we'll call this Arlin's Mandates. Give it a title. You can type a description. And then you come down here to the little book icon, click that, and search for whichever courses you want to be a part of your training program. Now, I recommend that you name it in such a way that you can identify it later. Put your school district in front of whatever you call your program. That way it's easy to identify. And again, a program is just a grouping of courses. So I'm going to click the plus button, click the book again, and now I'll search for my diabetes training. Click the plus, book for course, and let's do chronic health. So I'm just going to do these 3 health-related mandated trainings. All right, to go assign this now, you're going to click this up arrow. You're going to publish it. That doesn't assign it. That just means it's ready to be assigned by people. Publishing it, it's almost kind of like just saving it and pushing the changes through. Mark it as done, and that's going to take you to the main landing page where I can assign this new program to individual learners or groups. So you can use this for anything. It doesn't have to be state mandated training. We've got a program on here for a new teacher toolkit that's got 6 different courses in it that is just important for new teachers to be aware of: parent communication, discipline, classroom management. So you can create a program for anything you'd like using courses that already exist in ELN or your very own courses, which I'll show you how to create next. So any questions from the group on course and program assignment?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Whenever I was reading the mandates, some of them said that they could be done during like a TI day as part of a daily training and whatnot. How do you recommend if we do one as a group that we do that? Does everyone need to go into their account individually and walk through it as we kind of do it together?
So if you wanted everybody to get a certificate of completion, that's the way you do it, is say, log in, we're going to watch it together, or we're going to go through the course together. Everybody's got their own laptop. They've got the course pulled up. Now, I have had schools in the past put it on a projector and just everybody goes through the course with only one person logged in. Then you would be responsible at the district level for getting certificates of completion to your staff, or having what some people do is just a sign-in sheet. Sign in when you walk into the room, and then that means all these people who were there got credit for completing the state mandated training. So there's a couple different ways you can come at it, but I have heard of people just putting it on a projector and letting people sign in as they come in the room, and they're completing it as a group.
Okay.
So either way is possible.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm going to go back to courses under the author tab. And this button in the top right-hand corner is the plus new course button. If you click that, that's going to bounce you into our authoring tool. Now, this is the same tool that I use to make any course you see on Ed Leaders Network. It's very clean, very simple to use, very user-friendly. So I'm going to call this Arlin's test course. And I'm going to say this will be section 1, teacher evaluation is going to be my topic. Now I go into start adding content. I can add text down below. The formatting is really, you can't change the font. You can change the size. You can bold the text, italicize the text. You can hyperlink the text to anything publicly available on the internet, an article, a web page, a PDF, anything that's out there, you can link to it. You've also got the H1 tags, that makes it a header, H2 tags for subheadings, bullet points, numbered lists. If you know HTML, you can click on this code block and type HTML code into this. And then this is the button that we use a lot, the attachment button. This is where you can upload images, audio files, and video files. And you can also see where you can paste in a URL. So if I open a new tab and bounce out to YouTube and search for teacher evaluation. And I'm going to find this nice 26-minute Charlotte Danielson video. What I'm going to do is go up to the top browser address bar, and I'm going to copy this URL from the top back to my course editor, paste in the URL, and then all of a sudden I've got a video from YouTube or Vimeo pasted right here into my course. We use Vimeo for hosting all of our course content, but YouTube obviously has a ton of great information videos there as well. All right, so now if I want to add a new page, if I'm done with this section 1, I go over here to the blue Add Content button, click that, and then I type in section 2, calibration. And then again, add text, links, whatever you wish, into the main body of this page. If I want to add a quiz to make sure people are following along and paying attention, I click the little drop down next to the blue button to add content and go to add question. Make sure to click on it there. There we go. I avoid these smart quizzes. They're very difficult to set up. I'm not smart enough to figure them out. So what I use is the traditional quiz questions, multiple choice, multiple answers, sorting, and short answer. So I'm going to choose a multiple choice quiz. Quiz question goes at the top there. And then you start filling in your answers, your answer options. If they provide you with 2 by default, you can add an answer with the button below. And wherever you place this check mark, that denotes what the correct answer is. So I'm going to leave question 1 is my correct answer. If I want these answer options to always appear in this order, I'm going to click preserve answer order at the top. That way it doesn't shuffle them. If you leave this unchecked, every time a new user comes to it, it shuffles the answer options so that people can't say, hey, you know, it's A, B, B, A, or whatever for the answers. So we're going to preserve the answer order for this one since it's numerical. And now I'm going to publish the course. Like I said, this doesn't put it anywhere, doesn't assign it to anyone, just puts it out there for assignment to be made. Now I'm going to click the 3 little dots in the top right-hand corner, and I'm going to preview this course. And this is going to show me what it looks like on, I'll go back to the beginning, on a desktop, on a tablet, and even on a mobile device. So if you've got staff out there that need to complete trainings on the go, or all they have is a mobile device to complete trainings, ELN is fully supportive of mobile training. So this is what it looks like on the phone. There's my section 2. Here's my quiz question. I can even answer it, submit my answer, and see what it looks like when I get the quiz right. Once you're happy with how that looks, click the toggle preview in the top right-hand corner, the little eyeball, and that takes you back to the editor. Once you're ready to assign this course, you close out in the top right-hand corner. This takes you to the main landing page where you can assign your new course to individual learners or your groups. So that's a really handy tool if you want to make sure everybody watches a video at the beginning of the year, or if you've got something that all new staff need to do that can be completed online. Creating a new course for them is a really handy way to get that done. Any questions about course authoring? Not everybody uses it, but some of the school districts like Harvard, CUSD 50, they've used it. They've put over 60 courses into ELN that are specific to them and their staff. So it's not always the first thing that people gravitate to create their own courses, but it's nice to have it there when you need it. Okay, the last tool to be aware of with your LMS manager is the admin tool. This is where you come to manage your people and manage your groups. So you're going to open up users and permissions on the left. And the first thing we're going to look at is manage users. Now, it looks like, well, I think these are hidden on yours, but I want to make people aware that the only way to add new people and remove old staff is to submit the spreadsheet to IPA, because this is our learning management system, but sitting behind this is a database that lets us know who's in and who's out. So only we can make changes to the database. So the only way to update your staff rosters is to get those spreadsheets to us that you use at the beginning of the school year. Any people that leave, anybody who has a name change, an email change, all that can be done with the roster. The nice thing you can do though, if you want to manage your people, come to users, if somebody were to come in your office and say, hey, I think I'm done with everything for the year, can you check for me? Well, rather than loading up the transcript and trying to find them, come to manage users, search their individual username, click on it, and it will take you right into their My Learning page. And you can see what's been assigned of them, what they've added themselves, and at the very bottom, you can see what they've completed. And you can also at the very top, if you want to provide this to them or something for you to keep, you can export their transcript. And it looks just like the big transcript with everybody on it, but it's focused on just one user. Some schools like to have the people turn in individual certificates of completion. That can be a lot of paper. So if you wanted to, rather than using your group transcript, if you wanted people to turn in their full completion transcript, this is where they can come to export it and get it as a CSV zip file. The other thing you can do is manage your groups. By default, I said you've got the My Learners group. Each school within your district will be a group. The district itself will be the parent group of everyone. But if you wanted to create a smaller subset, let's say your non-certified staff who don't need to take all of the mandated trainings, you go up to New Group in the top right-hand corner. We're going to do a manual group because, again, the smart groups, I'm just not good with those. So this is going to be Arlin's non-certified staff. Okay, so then I'm going to go down to where it says members, and I'm going to add a user to this group. I'll search for myself in the box, click on my name when it shows up. I'll search for our video producer, Scott Wilkinson. Oh, if I can spell his name. There he is. And I'll put in our executive director, Jason Leahy. So that's how you do it. You build this group one person at a time, adding them as you go. Now, when I come back to the authoring tool, and I want to assign this test course that I've created to just my non-certified staff, I can go to groups. I can click the plus group button, search for Arlin. Non-certified staff should show up. And then again, I set the relevance. Is this going to be a required course? Do I just want to recommend it to them and put it on their My Learning page? Or do I just want to make this course available in the library for these people to search for? I'm going to make it required because I love that it sends an email to the people letting them know they've been assigned a new course. So I can click save and boom, an email goes out and they're assigned this new course or program that you've created. So again, analytics, that's your data. Author, that's your course creation, course and program assignment. And admin is how you manage individual users and your groups. Just three pretty simple tools to managing your ELN team. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you. It is 2 o'clock. I promised I'd keep this at a half an hour, but I've got time. I don't have anything else happening. So any questions, comments, or feedback from what you've seen here today? Okay, great.
Thank you,
Yes.
Arlin.
My pleasure. Thank you all for logging in. I know this is a little bit larger group. So sorry if anybody was hoping to get one-on-one experience with me, but I like to kind of group them together. We can all learn from each other that way. But I definitely appreciate everyone using Ed Leaders Network. You've all got my email address. So as you get your manager logins and you start going in and making these assignments, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. We can hop on Zoom and I can walk you through any of these processes as you're doing them for the first time.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes, my pleasure. It's great to meet everybody.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to stop the recording.